Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're talking about animals a little. We'll be having some discussion. We'll also be talking about accents and watching some videos in various accents. Valerio, welcome to class. Hmm. I can't hear you, Valerio.
Michaela,
Ah, there we go.
hi.
Okay.
Yeah. See you again. How are you?
Good. Definitely glad to be back with you. So, did you have any other comments that you wanted to say for our last class that we didn't have time for?
Last comment. Yes, I have a last comment. I think you are a wonderful teacher. I like very much to attend classes with you.
That's very
Yes,
sweet. Thank you. I hope you'll
this is
like the
true.
topic for this class as well. It's different, but we'll be discussing a lot of different things. It's a little more general. And
Hmm.
to start the class, I have a question. What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is the cat
Why?
because in front of my house there is a ruined house of middle age. And it's full of rats, and the cats help are my only resource to
Oh my
to
gosh.
keep rats.
So you like
Uh,
them because they're hunters.
yes, they are. I like cats because they're hunters.
Wow, that is a unique reason. I
That's
also
true.
love cats, but mostly because they're soft and cute.
Do you have a cat?
I kind of have cats. When I have two cats, but they're not really mine anymore because they were we my family got these cats when I was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
And since then I've moved out and they stay with my dad. So they're
Uh,
I like to think of them as my cats, but I haven't seen them in a long time because I'm not even living near my dad anymore. So I miss them.
and then it's bad because I think you move a lot, you travel a lot.
Yeah,
So
I love to travel. And sometimes it's amazing, but also it is a little sad occasionally that I'm far from my family and I'm far from my sweet cats and everything.
yeah, it's bad to the bad part of traveling is that you cannot have animals. Yes, that's a
Mhm.
bad thing.
Definitely. But I think, at least for now, the good things outweigh the bad things. Maybe one day I
Yeah,
will want to settle down a little, though, because it is nice.
of course.
All right. And David, welcome back also.
Hi, Mika. Good to see you again.
Good to have you back. David, what is your favorite animal?
I don't think really much in that, but I think I prefer the dogs. Yeah.
Dogs. And why do you prefer dogs?
Okay, I prefer dogs because you can play with dogs, you can play frisbee, you can run with dogs, you can walk with dogs. Dogs are like very friendly with you. When you come to home, they are happy. They move
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's like a friend for you. If you are with a dog, the dog is all the time with you, looking for you. Yeah, it's a very good
Mm-hmm.
friend.
That's very true. I like dogs also, but I have an argument with people sometimes because dogs are nice and they're sweet, but for me, they're a little too much work to actually
Yeah.
own a dog. is a lot of work.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah, you have to walk them, you have to give them a lot of affection, you have to feed them, you have to pick up their poop, you have to do all this stuff. I feel like cats are a little bit easier for me.
Yeah, cats are more easy, definitely.
Yeah,
Like,
you can kind of just ignore them and they do their own thing.
yeah, or for example, buy a fish. If a fish is more easy.
Yes, fish are the easiest.
Yeah.
The only problem is they're not soft. They're not like
Yeah.
cute and cuddly. You can't sleep with a fish.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So today we're going to be watching a couple of videos, and I'll put the first one in the chat box for you guys, and you can load that up while we have a little more starting conversation. And as we watch these videos, we're going to be talking a little bit about the subject of the video, which is animals, but we're also going to be talking about some listening skills and accents, because I have two videos and they're using two different accents. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Do you guys find that there's one accent in English that's much easier or more difficult to understand? Valerio, what accent
Yes.
do you think is the easiest or most difficult?
The easiest accent in the English world definitely is the Italian accent, which is the easier to me. No,
Okay,
no,
so
really. I think the easiest accent for me is the Northern Europe accent, because you see Swedish, Norwegian, they speak very good English, and it's
so
real
people from the
clear.
UK.
Yes, people from UK.
Okay. All right.
Maybe because I've always listened when I went to in England, an English country, I always went to Malta or UK. So how do you say habit? I have an habit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Uh,
So you find people from the UK more easy to understand than, say, someone from Australia or the US or
yeah,
Jamaica or anything like that.
exactly.
All right.
This is my opinion.
Yeah, it's a totally valid opinion. David, do you agree or do you have a different opinion?
Okay, for me, for example, your accent is perfect. It's very clear. I almost understand everything you say. I like the Canadian and US accent because it's like the accent from my country. It's Colombia, and we speak Spanish very clear without accent. Yeah, and I think US and Canadian also. Uh, I can understand very well accent like Australian, England, New Zealand, because there are some teachers and I can understand very well. They speak a little distance from me.
All right. So you guys have slightly different opinions on what's the easiest accent. Can you guys think of what's the hardest accent to understand? Is there anything that stands out to you as really difficult?
I don't understand the question.
So we talked about types of accents that are easier
Yes.
for you. You said the UK and David
Yes.
said the US is a little easier. But what's more difficult? Because we have a lot of English accents. There's UK, US, Australia, South Africa, Jamaica.
I think Australian accent is the most difficult. I
The
don't
what?
know much
Australian?
Australian accent. I don't have much. I don't have a lot of relation with Australian people, but I think it's the. I think you have the same opinion.
Me?
Yes, because yes, I think so. No?
Well, it depends. I think you're right in a lot of ways because people from Australia, they're not heard as often as people from the UK or the US. So you might hear movies in American English and then your ear gets used to it. And people
Mm.
from the UK are also, they have a lot of music and a lot of movies, and there's plenty of teachers who use that accent to
Yeah.
teach. So
Yes.
both of those are accents that are more common and people can understand them better because you have more experience. And Australian is not as common for
Mm.
for most of those things. So it is more difficult for most students to understand, for sure. But if I were talking about myself, I think I would say the Jamaican accent is the hardest. Someone with a
Really?
really thick Jamaican accent is difficult for me to understand.
Really? I have to
Yeah,
try.
yeah, well, even the grammar changes a little. So it's, I think it's a little bit more separate. It's not just the way they produce the words, but also they they change some of the grammar. So sometimes it's
Ah.
confusing or not understandable. But Jamaica is very small in comparison to something like Australia. So it's not something you have to usually deal with
Mm.
unless you're really
Wait.
into reggae music.
What do they change? Why do they change grammar?
Why?
Yeah, you said they change even grammar.
Yeah, it's just a dialect.
Okay.
Similarly, in Italy, you have lots of
Yes,
different
yes.
areas where things are really different, and it's similar. So the grammar changes a little. They use me instead of I, or
Ah.
sometimes I instead of me. So they switch some words
Mm.
around, and most of the time it's not so difficult, but there are definitely times when I
Mm.
hear something in the Jamaican accent and I'm like, what? David, do you have any opinions on the more difficult accents in English?
Yeah, uh, like says uh, Valerio, I don't like Australian accent. I like, but it's difficult. It's like a mix between England accent, and I think it's a mix between typical, I don't know, typical accent from Australia, from the indigenous people. Is like a mix.
Mhm.
I think the same is in Jamaica. Is the accent from maybe I don't know England or I don't know, and
Mhm.
then with indigenous accent or yeah, like another.
Mhm. Yeah.
Accent. And
Even the
and difficult for that.
th, they don't really pronounce the th in Jamaica. So instead of saying them, they might say dem with a d. So it's kind of a distinct accent, very
Yeah.
much so. All right. Okay. So do you guys have the video loaded up?
Um,
Okay, yes, yes.
I can also play it on the class YouTube thing, but sometimes it's just easier if you guys
Yeah,
have it on
yeah.
your own computer. All right.
Okay, so
So
we watch the video, right?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Watch the video. It is about, it's a little
17.
long actually. We'll just watch the first 4 minutes of the video.
Okay.
So, first 4 minutes and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
And remember to mute yourselves.
mm, uh,
Okay.
Michaela,
Yeah.
you stopped. You told us 4 minutes.
Yes.
You stopped us at the best moment.
Yeah. We'll discuss for a second and then maybe we'll we'll watch a couple more minutes because it is a really cute video and the story gets more interesting from here as well. But I wanted to focus a little bit first on what you guys understood, what you could hear, and the difference that you heard between the narrator, which was female, and the man who was her caretaker, who was a little more difficult to understand.
She
And
was
also,
Jamaican, imagine.
no, but
Uh-huh.
close. It's a similar accent. I'm going to welcome Sad to the class.
Hello.
Hi, are you the same user I had in the first class today? I think it was Cuke.
Yes, we met
Okay,
again.
yes, we meet again. You changed your name.
Okay. Yes, it's cute.
All right, well, which would you prefer me to call you? Sad?
Now call me Kitty.
Kitty. Okay,
Okay.
Kitty, welcome to class. Did you get to watch the video?
Yes, I'm watching.
Excellent. You can continue watching and we're going to have a small discussion right now on that video.
Okay.
And Aka, welcome to class as well.
Sure. Yes, hello. How are you?
Hi, Aka. We just watched a video, which I'll put in the chat boxes. It's already in the Verbling, and I'll put it in the Google. You're welcome to watch it, or at least the first 4 minutes of it, and then
Okay.
we're going to discuss it a little bit right now.
I think I've watched this video before. I
I
remember.
think you have too.
Yeah.
All right. What do you remember from this video?
The kind of real story between elephant and zookeeper or something.
Yes, yes. The elephant and the zookeeper.
Mhm.
All right. And Valerio, will you give us a little more information? What did you understand from the video?
So I understand there was an ill elephant. He was ill, maybe he was, I don't know which kind of ill. And the tutor, I don't know if I can say tutor, treated him to, can I say tutor? The black man.
No, a tutor
Okay.
would be like something like a teacher. That guy is a trainer or a caretaker. I'll put that in the chat box. Kitty, can you please not mute us? All right. Valerio, I'll put that
You
in the
listen me?
chat box for
Okay.
you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So probably a caretaker would be the best word for that.
So the caretaker treated him to let him to go again in the forest into the savannah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And what we watched in the video was the first how do you say, meeting between another elephant. That's what I understand.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. And David, can you give us any more information? Anything else you heard during the video?
Okay, Michaela. Actually, my internet doesn't allow me to open the video. I don't know because it's very low right now.
All right, no problem. I hope you get to watch it because it's a good video. So we talked a little bit about what happens, and right now where this video takes place is in the south. So you have this comparison between the news reporter who is using a very general accent. Any basic US accent sounds like that. And then the caretaker is from the south of the US, so his accent is really thick. And he's more difficult to understand. Valerio, did you understand anything that the caretaker said?
Not at all. I
Yeah.
didn't understand even.
He requires maybe like 2 or 3 listens before you understand him a little better. But just to summarize the things he was talking about, he said things like, I don't know who put the chain on her, but I'm glad that I'm the last to take it off. And that he thinks she's really going to love the new place. And he just kind of talks a little bit about that stuff. But it's really difficult to understand him. And that's something that we talked earlier about, like the US accent versus the UK accent. But there's a lot of variation. In the UK, there's so different accents. And in the US, there's the southern accent and the eastern accent, maybe a little bit of a northern accent. So we have a few variations as well. Do you have an opinion, Valerio, between like British versus Irish and Scottish? Which do you prefer?
Your question is more and more difficult. I can understand the difference between American, Australian, and British accent, but I am not able to understand the difference inside the British world. So,
all right. Yeah, it's tough to make those distinctions. It requires a lot of experience listening before you can really point out those differences. How about you, David? Can you tell the difference between something like Eastern American accent versus Southern American accent, or does it sound really similar to you?
Okay. Actually, I didn't watch the video, but I think in some TV programs, I realized that, for example, have you seen Dog Dynasty? I don't know, it's from what state, but the accent is a little more like rural accent, more like a farm accent. Yeah. I don't know, places like LA or New York or Chicago.
If it's a rural accent, it's probably something like the Southern accent, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like Texas also could be.
Yeah, Texas definitely.
Yeah, and other accent is more fancy, like New York, LA, Chicago.
Yeah, so it's cool to hear these accents back to back, because if you don't have a lot of experience listening to people, say from Scotland or from Ireland, it can all sound sort of the same. But if you listen to a British English person and then a Scottish English directly next to each other, it's easier to hear the differences.
What is more fancy, Michaela, for you?
What?
Scotland? What is more fancy? What is the more fancy? Scotland or British?
I think for me, British English sounds like the most fancy and kind of formal.
Yeah.
But they all UK accents to me sound a little proper, a little formal.
Yeah. Polite. Yeah. Polite.
Yeah. Aka, what do you think about the accents? Can you tell the difference between an Eastern American accent versus Southern American, or Scottish versus Irish?
When I was in Georgia, I suffered the language there.
Oh,
I couldn't understand the accent, southern accent. And in my impression, neither sound is strong in American South. People talk like this, man, or, yeah, Yeah, or and probably New England area, or it's bit like kind of the old Britain. So
Hmm.
the sound is much more clear to my ears,
Okay.
and American and British accent is clear different.
Yeah.
Hello, and R doesn't roll in America, in England,
Hmm.
better, but Americans say better. Water and water.
Hmm.
Yes.
Oh, good
Yeah, but
example.
and I'm not so much familiar with Australian accent. I don't know how does it sound exactly, but good day or something. That's a general knowledge.
Yeah, it's certainly less common than other
Mhm.
accents,
Yeah.
or less known, really, less
Yeah.
famous. All
Mm.
right. So let's,
Michela,
yeah,
I have a question for you.
go
Is
ahead.
it
What is
is
it?
it is it better to say understand British accent or recognize British accent? I recognize British accent.
They're both good, but they mean something different. So if you understand the British accent, it means that you can hear the British accent and you communicate well with a
Okay.
person from the UK. But if you say you recognize the British accent, it's something more like you can make the distinction. You know the
Okay.
difference between the US and the UK or
Okay.
something.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions right now? Good. If you guys do think of them, just let me know or put them in the chat box. And before we go on to our next video, would you guys like to finish the video we started before we go on? You can
Uh,
raise your
I would
hand.
like.
Okay, let's finish the video. There's 3 minutes left and it's a really good video, so I know you guys will enjoy it. I hope that you will enjoy it. And yeah, okay. So you guys have it open. Actually, let's try this. I'm going to open my YouTube. If you guys open your YouTube function, you can watch the video along with me. And that way, David, if you're not having great connectivity, you'll be able to watch it as well,
Okay, I'm going to
hopefully.
watch video.
Okay. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to open your YouTube. And just remember All right. So, Valerio, you watched it?
Yes,
What did you think about the end of that video?
I think it's movie touching.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a touching video. Only
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why the elephant was captured. He was captured or he was healed. I don't understand why he
They
was.
they mentioned that they were held captive, but they don't say how exactly. I think they don't
Okay.
know exactly because in the beginning the trainer said that he didn't know the first person who put the chain on this elephant.
Mm.
So probably it was an elephant saved from a bad circumstance, like maybe it was in a zoo that did not properly care for the animals, something like that.
Okay.
Kind of sad. All right. And David, did you get to watch it this time?
Yep, I got.
And what did you think?
It's a very nice video. I didn't see anything like that between animals. It's very unique. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the the two elephants are like friends, or
Mm-hmm.
spending most of the time
And
together.
what did you hear from the audio? What were they talking about?
Oh, damn! I didn't pay much attention to that. But I remember that one elephant was captured, and after uh, get together with another one after 25 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember more.
All right, good. And Kitty, did you watch the video?
Yes, I watched.
And what did you think? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, of course. Really touching video. It
Great.
almost brings tears on my eyes. Really touching.
What did you hear them say?
Um, Jenny and her friend get together,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they seem like very happy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And Valerio, can you add anything about what you heard in the audio?
They didn't say a lot after the introduction. There was mostly music, some touching images. Uh, the only thing I understood it's about two friends, two elephants. They were friends, and they were put again on on the forest, on the savannah, on the
Mm-hmm.
wild.
Exactly. All right. Well, sometimes it's great to watch those videos more than once so you can understand fully all of what they're saying. And you guys are encouraged to do that after class. And we're going to watch one more video together today. And it has a similar topic, but a different accent. And I'm going to ask you guys to tell me where you think this accent is from. I put the video in the chat boxes if you guys want to watch it on your own computer. And I will also play it on the YouTube for Verbling. So you can go ahead and choose which you prefer to use. Hold on. Oops. All right.
Michaela,
Yeah.
you're trying to make us sad.
Yeah, I mean, they're sad, but the reason I like both of these videos is because I think the audio is pretty understandable for both of them. So when I look for videos for class, I usually look for something where I think they speak at a moderate level. It's not too fast. And it just happens to be that most of the time they're sad videos. So Valerio, tell us what you heard in that one.
So I understand. Wait a moment. I don't remember what's the name of the animal. Ri,
I think it's
Rhino.
Gurgi?
Rhino.
Oh, rhino.
A
Yeah,
rhino.
oh
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rhino. So the baby rhino was found in the forest alone, beside the shape of her mother, dead. He was crying in his, and they found him. Can I say him? No, it. They found it.
Yeah, you can choose.
Okay, they found him, and they took care of him, and now they will put again in a how do you say, not in the wild, but in
In a reserve or something.
reserve, yes, in a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
Excellent.
what I understand.
Awesome. David, can you add to that at all? Tell us anything else you heard or felt during the video.
Sorry again, I didn't watch the video for my connection. Sorry.
You can watch it on your own time then, anytime you feel. And sad, Kitty, did you get to watch the video?
Yes, I just watched
And what did you think? What did you hear?
the rhino named Kenji Yeti. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
Gurgi
really know
or
his name.
Genji, something like that.
Yeah. He is 4 years old, and he was recused from. He was recused
Rescued?
by a
Mhm.
staff. He was crying next to the mother,
Mhm.
and now he's living alone.
Mhm.
And
Did anybody hear
he
how the mother died?
I
I
don't know.
forgot.
They mention it quickly in the beginning. And I'll put one word in the chat box that's basically a good explanation for exactly what happened. It was poachers. Does anybody know what a poacher is?
No, what it is?
A poacher is a person who kills animals for a particular item. Like sometimes elephants get poached for their tusks. People
Poacher.
take the ivory from elephant tusks. So
Okay.
the mother of this rhino was killed by a poacher.
Oh,
They
I
are
got it.
illegal hunter.
Yes, an illegal hunter,
Probably.
and usually
Probably.
they're hunting for a particular resource that the animal has, but not always. Sometimes it's just hunting. Okay. So yeah, you guys should watch that video again, and the more you watch, the more you will understand. Where was that person from? The narrator. Where was she from?
I think his accent was her accent was American.
Right
Not
this?
that one.
No.
Right this?
Where? British?
Right this?
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
that accent was British. So,
Really?
yeah. And it's difficult. It's really difficult to tell the
It's
difference between accents sometimes. But if you go back and you watch them back to back, like you watch 10 seconds of American English and then 10 seconds of British English, you can hear a little more about the distinctions. Now, it's not really that important to know the distinctions. You don't need it for any reason, but it might help you understand more, or sometimes it's helpful to know where a person is from, but it's not necessary. So it's not like a skill you need to develop, but listening is a skill you need to develop. So let's talk for a sec about what listening skills you guys have. So when you listen to these videos, how do you help yourself focus and understand what they're saying? David, what do you usually do when you watch something in English to help yourself better understand what's happening?
I don't know, put headphones for listening more clearly.
That's an excellent way to listen more clearly and get rid of distractions and background noise. That's important. Valerio, is there anything else you can think of that you use to help yourself understand more?
When there are not images to see at, I close my eyes to focus on the listening.
Excellent idea. That definitely would be helpful if you're on the phone with someone, just really focusing on that voice. Excellent. Kitty, do you have any other strategies to help you listen?
I often focus on the voice, and sometimes I can't really get the sentence, but I can hear some words so that I can get the sentence.
Excellent. Yeah, it's common that you might understand a few words but not the
Yes,
whole sentence. But that's a good skill to develop so that you have, if you only have 2 or 3 words that you understand, you can still gain something from the
exactly.
video.
Yes,
And sometimes people find it helpful to have like a pen and paper near so that you can write something down. When, for instance, the first video we watched was 7 minutes long. So by the time you're at the end of the video, you forgot what happened at the beginning of the video. And it happens to me too, and I speak English fluently. So it's good sometimes to have a pen and paper to remind yourself. If you hear the word mother or elephant, you can write that down, and then once you're at the end, you'll remember, oh yeah, in the beginning, I heard the word chains and I heard the word reserve. And then you can bring the ideas together and come up with some overall ideas, even if you don't understand each individual sentence. Okay. Any other questions or comments before we talk a little more about the content of the last video? Great. Okay. So let's talk for a second about poachers. Valerio, have you ever heard of poachers before? Like what they do? Where do they work?
I know poacher, they work many, the most of poacher work on Africa. Because there are a lot of resources to steal from animals. It's ivory. Ivory is the most important item they look for.
And what do you think about the animals that they're poaching? Do you think that they can feel things like emotions and that kind of thing, or do you think that they're not really as intelligent or important as humans, so they don't feel emotions?
I think they feel emotions. They understand they are being hunted, and I think I think it must be government should not only ban these practices, but they have enforce the law to stop these practices.
Okay. David, do you think animals can feel complex emotions similar to the ones humans feel?
Yeah, of course. It's pretty clear in the video of the elephant because the elephant suffer when another elephant die, and it's like the elephant make like a little funeral for some days, stay with the other elephant that die, and yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
elephant I think is very kind and feel a lot of emotions like humans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Kitty, what do you think about animals and what kind of emotions they can experience?
I think vulture they are they are hunting in a hooligan, and they should be banned for
Definitely. Well, they
killing.
are banned. I mean, it's
Yes,
illegal activity, but it still occurs frequently. It's
they
unfortunate
should.
for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. Did you have any other thoughts on the topic? Okay. So, we have about 4 minutes left. Do you guys have any other comments or questions about these videos or anything else? No? I'll put my Facebook name in the chat box for anybody out there who wants to grab it. And yeah, thank you guys for coming and discussing a little bit. I have 2 more classes today. I have a break now for an hour, but I have another class later. So maybe I'll see you guys again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
It
you
was
for the
good to
class.
have you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Very nice class.
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
Michaela.
See you.
Have a nice day.